You said before, if I woke up tomorrow without Tourette's, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Why not?
I don't know. It's who I am. I like who I am, and I've had success in my professional life. I've got the greatest friends that anybody can have. I've got 2 amazing children. I've got a great family. So I don't know. Life is good, and this is the only life I know. So I don't know. I like who I am, and it's part of my personality.
Going back to when you were a child, your mother Esther told me.
Yeah.
It seemed like the symptoms, to her at least, developed over the course of like a day.
Yeah.
What do you recall from the first time you really felt like something was wrong?
Which happens a lot. You hear that from so many parents. You know that all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably didn't happen overnight because the kid probably recognized it and tried to hide it. But eventually, it starts to get into motion, and it's like, wow, when did that happen? I don't know. I can't put an exact moment, but I remember. Some sort of head movement or eye movement or twitch, and it happened. I did it a lot, and it was weird and it was odd. I remember a lot of OCD, a lot of counting, a lot of touching, a lot of things like that. Again, which just felt probably not normal. They became normal pretty quickly, but it didn't feel normal at the time.
Well, and it's interesting you bring that up because your mom gave me a few examples of that. She said you'd come in from outside having to go to the bathroom. The bathroom was on the far end of the apartment. Before you'd go to the bathroom, there'd be certain things every time in the room that you had to touch. Yeah. Or before you would talk to your mom, you had to tap her 3 times on the shoulder.
That was a funny one, yeah.
And she also said you just could not, for the life of you, bear to throw anything away. Mm-hmm. In all of those instances, like, what are you thinking about that, would make you act that way?
I don't know. I don't think I was thinking. It was just natural. That's what my mind was wanting to do. So there was some pretty funny moments in there.
Was it funny at the time though? I mean, did you realize?
Yeah, I realized. But my mom was great, stuff like that. She just didn't. She did her research on it. She found out stuff, but she just let me be me, which was great. So it wasn't like anyone called me on it, It was just some weird stuff that I was doing.
When are symptoms generally the worst?
Usually right before a game, So that's 24 hours before a match. They're very, very intense.
And what will happen?
Just get super tense, like my tics and twitches will become heightened more often. I can feel the tenseness in my muscles, and it's normal to me now.
Why not take medication for it? I know that's something you've avoided forever.
You know what? Ages and ages ago, when I was probably a young teenager or just before, my mom and I spoke to a doctor, I think, in New York, and unfortunately, quite a lot of medical professionals don't have it right yet. It's just a concoction of drugs for other ailments, and they kind of take that for a few months, see how it works, lower the dosage, lessen the dosage, change the medicine. And at the time, the doctor had said, well, it'll make you drowsy, it'll make you zombie-like, and I just said, even then, I said, I like who I am. I've got great friends, they don't make fun of me, and I don't need to change anything, And that was at a, again, I was a young teenager, but I didn't want to, or maybe I was in my mid-teens. I didn't want to not be who I was.
But it is interesting you mentioned that, because for a while you did apparently try to hide it from friends, family, later on the teammates and press. Why did you feel compelled to do that?
I think I wasn't very good at hiding it, I think a lot of kids do. Some kids can go 2 ways with TS, and I've seen it, and I don't think there's a right way. Even now when I speak to kids and they tell me their stories, some kids are just, super brave and bold, and they want to, look, this is what they've got a good family unit, and they want to tell their class, and this is who they are, and I think that's wonderful. If you feel that, like I did, it was something that I wanted to suppress and I wanted to hide, and maybe I wasn't brave enough at the time.
How did you try and hide it?
I don't know. I tried to be as still as I possibly could for as long as I possibly could, but again, I don't think it worked very well.
What made you decide to open up and tell people?
Again, I think there was a time when I was at the Metro Stars where I was a backup goalkeeper, and then I became the starting goalkeeper. And I don't know, I think I made a conscious decision that, look, I'm going to be a starting goalkeeper, and I'm going to be on television more, I'm going to be in the press more, and people are going to see it. And so I just, at that point, I just thought there's no reason to hide this anymore, you know. It's not going to be of any use. People are going to see it anyway, you know. Right. So, and that gave me a good platform to use that.